stand by. We're going to actually speak with someone who is very much aware of the situation of American manufacturing in this country. If the president plan works, it would mean more jobs at U.S. factories. Manufacturing, it's making things. It's not services. It's not consumer spending, which accounts for most of growth in this country. The question there is, what manufacturing sectors should this country focus on, and how do you train Americans so that they become skilled to fill these positions that will add value to the U.S. economy and help this economy rebound? Scott Paul is the executive director at the Alliance for American Manufacturing, a group that represents a number of U.S. companies. Now, what are you, in your position, hoping to hear from the president today in Washington?
Well, I do hope the president talks about the ways in which our companies can be more competitive. I think boosting exports and having export financing is a key component of that. If you look at his blueprint for manufacturing, it's comprehensive. It deals with vocational training. It deals with actually import competition from China and leveling the playing field. It talks about innovation. It also talks about tax policy, which is obviously very important to American companies, and having incentives in our tax code to invest in the United States as opposed to outsourcing their jobs. So I'm hoping I hear more of that message. We certainly heard some of it in Wisconsin a couple of days ago, but it's a popular message. But even more important than that, it's vital to our economic future to grow these jobs.
But, okay, so which sector, though, do you focus on? Because if we're talking about government tax breaks, essentially the government is picking here, Boeing being a huge exporter for the country and a big generator of revenue. But how do you choose which sector to focus on in this country?
Sure. Well, look, the value added for manufacturing is much higher than it is for other sectors of the economy. Manufacturing spins off 4 or 5 other jobs for every job it creates. It provides 90% of our patents, 2/3 of our research and development. And the truth is, if you locate a Boeing, a Caterpillar, or a Ford plant in your community, it means you're also going to get a Walmart, you're going to get a nice, vibrant Main Street, you're going to get a lot of other activity. I don't think that's true for most other types of economic activity. So it's the one type of economic activity that governors, mayors, everyone's fighting for, and I'm glad that our country's fighting for it, because we've spent the last decade or so seeing these jobs leave, and we haven't done much about it.
Sure, but again, which sector do you choose? Do you choose the lower added value sectors? I mean, making, I don't know, textiles, that kind of thing? Or, or do you spend money with government programs? I'm just throwing ideas or possibilities out there on, for instance, skilled, technology-based jobs that add a lot of value throughout the production chain.
That's a very good question. I think it's important to point out that the jobs we have left in manufacturing here in this country are all highly skilled. We shed 1/3 of our manufacturing jobs over the last decade. And if you walk into any steel mill or nearly any factory today, it is high tech. There's lots of lasers, there's lots of computers. And I think one of the things that we need to understand is that 94% of all U.S. manufacturing is globally cost competitive. So it makes sense to invest in advanced manufacturing. That means most of manufacturing today. Yes, we won't create manufacturing how it was in the 1950s, 1960s. We don't want to do that, but there's a lot of manufacturing that we can do, everything from steel to aerospace and a lot in between.
All right, thanks very much, Scott Paul of the Alliance for American Manufacturing, joining us live on CNN. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. We're going to take the president's remarks live from Washington State just ahead. Stay with us.